singing country music. That's what I've always dreamt of doing as a young boy. Growing up in South Carolina, it was out of the ordinary to dream such a dream. I moved to Nashville to get a record deal, and I didn't really know what I was doing. My faith was really tested. I wrote this song called Long Black Train. When I laid the pen down, I said, nobody's ever going to want to hear this.
In Fairfield County, something new comes across my desk every day. Crimes are committed, cases are solved, and a community is made safe by the hardworking employees of the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office.
Welcome to This Week with Sheriff Dave Phelan, a weekly program here on LSN Television. We're also carried by a number of the radio affiliates here in Lancaster. Do appreciate you, the viewers and listeners that join us each and every week, and the students here at Fairfield Christian Academy that put this program together. Our executive producer, Kelly Roberts, lines up the guests, the questions, and does a lot of work behind the scenes. We got a great guest today, Lieutenant Alex Lape, the road commander with the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office. Good to see you.
Thank you, sir. It's good to be here.
And lots to talk about. And for the folks that may have missed you in days past, you've been on a number of times over the years. Tell us a little bit about your background within the Sheriff's Office.
Well, I started in 1992 at the Sheriff's Office as an auxiliary. I did that for a year, a little over a year, and then started full-time. Started working in the jail full-time. I probably spent about 3 years working in jail. Eventually transferred to Patrol Division, did a few different things there, community policing, did some bicycle patrolling and things like that. I then became involved in the Sheriff's Emergency Response Team. I took the promotional exam, became a sergeant, and moved back to the jail division on a few days a week, and then worked in the patrol division the remainder of that as a relief sergeant. Did that for several years, moved to the Detective Bureau, worked there for 2 years as the commander of that unit, and then eventually took the examination for the lieutenant, was promoted to lieutenant, moved back to the patrol division, and in a nutshell, that's kind of my career at the Sheriff's Office.
Well, that's quite a bit. So you've worked in just about every aspect, the jail, the patrol division, the investigative division, just about every area of the Sheriff's Office.
Yeah, yep. Been in everything except I haven't spent any time in the fiscal.
In the fiscal part of it.
Yeah, they probably won't let me in there.
You can balance your checking account, right?
Right, yeah, I'm good at that.
Well, you may get in.
Yeah.
You may get in. So of those areas, is there any area that you thought that was most interesting or you enjoyed more than maybe the others?
Well, I kind of have really enjoyed every aspect of the different bureaus within the Sheriff's Office. I think the investigations unit was probably my favorite due to the fact that you're just exposed to so many new and different things on a regular basis, and each case is different, and it's more of the Sherlock Holmes kind of mindset that you have to adopt. You have to be a little bit more analytical and more calculated in how you conduct the investigation, so I kind of like that.
And what I've mentioned a number of times over the years is I was with the Columbus Police Department and the Washington, D.C. Police Department. And in those agencies, the detectives were segregated into certain areas. In other words, you had detectives that worked nothing but homicides, auto theft, white-collar crimes, bad check, burglaries. So they became very good in those areas. But our detectives, because we only have 5, right, and a supervisor, they have to be proficient. They have to be able to handle a white-collar crime or a double homicide.
Right, yeah. I learned a lot in the Detective Bureau. I kind of just stood back and and gave them the assistance that I could as in a leadership position, and spent most of my time learning, and kind of got to where I was comfortable, and picked up a few cases of my own, and actually got some pretty good outcomes as far as prosecution on those. So it definitely, because of the fact that we're not compartmentalized like you spoke of, you're exposed to the whole gamut of any kind of criminal offense that you imagine could occur within our county. So it's a big learning experience when you walk into the Detective Bureau.
And one of the other things, I think, even though we have a smaller Detective Bureau, it shoulders more of the responsibility on the patrol officers that are out there in the neighborhoods, right?
Yeah. We're kind of unique because, like you said, like you mentioned, a lot of the patrol officers want to investigate a lot of the cases where in a typical police department you wouldn't imagine a patrol officer being involved in a felony investigation at the level that some of our guys get involved in. But, they have a detective that'll mentor them or shadow them and help them along the way if they have any questions. But they end up doing a lot of the felony investigations in the patrol division as well. And it helps because I have the experience in the Detective Bureau that I can help them along also from the patrol aspect of it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would be surprised within the patrol division, within the sheriff's office, what are some of the different components of that, different areas of responsibility and some of the different assignments we have even within the patrol division?
Well, we have our typical assigned areas that we do patrol and provide all the services to the county residents that they expect. And then within that we have the weights and scales, which is a deputy that goes out and monitors trucking traffic and anything to do with overweight vehicles. That's kind of his field of expertise. We have the litter enforcement officer who goes out and investigates complaints regarding illegal dumping and things like that. And we also have the K-9 unit who's assigned to the patrol division, and he's very busy, and he does a really good job. They all do a good job, and it's kind of segmented in the patrol division. In years past, we've had the community services aspect of our patrol unit was a little bigger, and we had the bicycle patrol in the villages. We still do the bicycle patrol. We just don't do it on as wide a scale as we once did. It's a labor-intensive kind of assignment. So we relegate that back to the individual villages, and Bremen and Canal Winchester and in Violet Township. Sometimes we'll do the bicycle thing at festivals. So the litter officer, he'll go out on a complaint, and a lot of people wouldn't think that that would be too interesting, digging through people's garbage, but he actually does a really good job.
And he enjoys it, yeah.
Yeah, and he's able to find the culprit, if that's what you want to call him, the person that dumped. Sometimes it's a communication issue that he discovers where a person thought they could put some stuff in an area and found out that they couldn't eventually, but he does a really good job with follow-up on that, and they all stay busy. There's plenty of things to do.
To this day, it really bothers me if I'm out or I'm off duty or something and I notice that someone will throw a bag or a can out the window. Mm-hmm. And fortunately, it seems to me that you don't see that as often as you did 10, 15, 20 years ago, or even when I grew up. I can remember people, they would have an ashtray full of cigarettes in a car and they just dump it in the parking lot and go on.
Yeah, I agree with you that you don't see it as often, and a lot of it I think is awareness, and people are just aware of what they really need to do with their trash, and it's helpful. A lot of times what we experience is like I said, people that can't find some place to get rid of what they want to get rid of, or they don't want to pay the fee associated with that, and they'll go out along a country road in the county and try to get rid of it there.
What about when they dump into somebody else's containers, like it's a business, and then they go ahead and they unload their stuff into a business container? Does he take care of that?
He does investigate those type complaints, and that occurs. It occurs probably more frequently than you would imagine. There's ways that he can track it down, and he does a really good job at doing that, and he's pretty successful in curtailing that kind of activity.
And you mentioned weights and scales, and I think that to a lot of viewers and listeners would think, why is it important that we weigh trucks, that we make sure that vehicles are proper weights on our highways?
Well, a lot of times it's the county roads that kind of come under scrutiny, as well as the highways as well. But if you notice in the winter months and in the spring, a lot of times you'll see the weight reduction signs that are posted by the county engineer's office. Basically, what that's telling you is that you can't have as heavy as vehicular traffic as what typically goes down this road, and the reason for that is the freeze and thaw. The road material underneath the roadway becomes saturated during the thaw portion of the spring, and these heavy trucks going up and down these roads are just can tear the roadway up, and it's an expensive thing to repave it and resurface it. So he goes out and makes sure that they're within the guidelines set forth by the engineer's office, and that's what it all boils down to. You'll have a truck that's rated for 80,000 pounds, and they'll be hauling 150,000 pounds, and it's detrimental to the roadways. It's a safety issue, and it needs to be enforced for those reasons.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, the fines are pretty substantial.
They can be. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly how the fine schedule works out, but it's all based on how many pounds they're overweight. Not only does he look at how they're overweight, if it's an oversized load, he's looking at how they have it strapped down.
Right.
How, is it safe? There's certain criteria that they have to follow to like, say, heavy equipment, for example. If it's a bulldozer or something like that, there's so many attachment points that has to be utilized to haul that load. So,
Yeah, and I think all of us have experienced that where we're driving down, we're on an interstate highway or something, and a big truck is beside us, and they have logs or something on
Yeah.
there, and you're kind of like,
Yeah.
I'm ready to get on the other side
Right.
of this behind this truck.
Yeah. I don't particularly care too much for driving alongside those either. I get by them as quickly as I can.
Now, the other thing, recently, we got a new canine,
Yep.
and
Canine car.
deputy, and a car. So tell us a little bit about our new canine.
Canine Cars is the newest deputy canine that we have. He's a Belgian Malinois. He's a big, kind of goofy acting dog. He's got a really good disposition, personality. He wants to rub on you, kind of like what a cat would do. He'll come up and turn sideways and rub down your leg. His training is such that when he's given the command to get down to business, he's all business, and he doesn't play around. He's certified in a lot of the different narcotics, the scent for those narcotics that we come in contact with. So he's working really well. He's doing a good job, and the kids like him, and everybody that comes in contact with him likes him. And Deputy Moy, the dog is actually getting him trained up to where he needs to be as well. So
So that's a partnership.
it is. One complements the other.
We're just about out of time. I'd like to have you back next week and talk a little bit about how the county would respond in some type of an emergency. I know there's been some things going on out at Buckeye Lake, a lot of things with ISIS, a lot of terrorism threats across the United States. I know you've been involved with some of that, so just to talk next week a little bit about how we would operate in case there would be, God forbid, some kind of a tragedy in our county.
Right.
Lieutenant Alex Lape with us this week, our road commander with the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office, a veteran of the Sheriff's Office, does a terrific job and supervises, about 40% of the personnel within the Sheriff's Office. Well, the clock on the wall says we've got to go. Again, I appreciate the students here at the Fairfield Christian Academy, our executive producer, Kelly Robertson, certainly you, the viewers and listeners, that join us each and every week. Until next week, God bless, and we'll see you right here.